Princess class. Once again, we're here for another awesome math lesson. And this one is titled Centimeters. So that is what we will focus on, centimeters, boys and girls. And our objective today, students will use a centimeter ruler to measure objects. So that is what our focus will be, using a centimeter ruler to measure objects. And let's look at this helpful information. It says a centimeter is a unit of measurement or length. It is part of the metric system. Okay, and here I put in a highlighted box there the abbreviation. So instead of writing centimeter, somebody could just write cm. And I mentioned that it is part of our metric system. The inches that we had been working on for so long was part of our customary system. So there's two different measuring systems. Most of the world uses the metric system, so it's good to be familiar with it. Okay, guys? So that is what we're going to talk about. Now, I mentioned using a centimeter ruler. Guess what? The ruler that we're going to use is the same ruler, but we're not going to focus on the side that says inches. If you recall, we were looking at the inch side and it went up to 12. Today, we're looking at the centimeter side of it. And if you see, it goes all the way to 30. So a centimeter ruler has 30 centimeters in it or on it. 30 centimeters on a centimeter ruler. We usually just call this a ruler, and whatever it is that we're being asked to do, it would be specified if we should be looking at the inch side or the centimeter side. Like I said, our focus is centimeters, so we're looking at the side that marks centimeters. And here I have some pictures of some things that are about a centimeter long. So it's good to have a point of reference. If you remember, when we were talking about inches, we talked about how the inch is about as wide as a quarter. So it's always good to be able to have something that we could refer back to say, oh yeah, centimeter is about this wide. So here are some objects. An eraser on your pencil is about a centimeter wide. Your pinky finger, your little pinky finger, is about a centimeter wide. So I'm talking about measuring it this way across. And a unit cube, if we think about our 10 cubes, base 10 cubes that come like this, if we talk about just the one little tiny cube, this one is about 1 centimeter wide, and I will show you that right now. So once again, there are 30 centimeters on a ruler, and we're going to look at that closely. So come over here, boys and girls, and I want you to look at this centimeter ruler. So you see that it's marked centimeters, and this is our school one that goes with our program. So you notice that it marks a 0. Now most of them do not, just like this one here. It does not have a 0. It's just assumed that the edge is the 0. Okay, so here you see it in both forms. It's really important to always remember which is the inch and which is the ruler side. If you remember that the inch side has 12 inches on a ruler, then you know that the other one must be the centimeter side, and it has 30. So here I can show you how that little cube fits perfectly between the 1 and the 2. It is 1 centimeter wide. I can put my finger there, and you can see that my finger is 1 centimeter wide. Now this pencil, I'm going to have to say this pencil is probably smaller than 1 centimeter wide, but it's close enough. It is a point of reference, something that gives you an idea of how long a centimeter is. So those are some ideas you can have in mind. Of course, we always have our fingers with us wherever we go, so you can always have your finger to rely on to be helpful in counting centimeters. So let's do a little practice before you get to practice in your book. Now, using the ruler with centimeters, it's the same way as you would use it when you were measuring inches, but we're marking centimeters. So I'm going to measure a few objects, and if you remember, when we first started using this ruler, we estimated the length of something and then we actually measured it. So what do you remember about the word estimate? What does it mean to estimate something? If you said to take a well thought out guess, you are correct. When you estimate something, you have a guess, but it's a well thought guess. You're not just randomly saying a number. So our focus is on centimeters, and there are 30 in this ruler, or on this ruler, and I'm estimating how long this pen might be. So I'm gonna say 9. So maybe that pen is 9 centimeters long. Now I'm going to actually measure it. And I always have to make sure that I'm on the correct side, and I am because it says centimeters. And I match up my 0 with the edge of the object. And how long is it, boys and girls? It is 16 centimeters long. So I was off by quite a bit. But it's okay. It's practice. And this is our first time using the centimeter ruler. So it's totally okay. My estimate was 9 centimeters and the actual measurement was 16 centimeters. And if you watched me do it, you saw that I did it the same exact way, but I'm not focusing on the inch side. I'm using the centimeter side because that's our focus. I started where the 0 is to the edge of the object. So I'm going to try that again with my reader. So I'm just going to erase these numbers here. Oops, I erased the word. Okay, now I'm going to take an estimate, and I'm going to measure going across. So I'm going to say maybe it's 17 centimeters long, or wide, I should say. Okay, so measuring it this way. 17 centimeters wide. And now I'm going to actually measure it. So once again, I line up the edge with the 0. I'm on the centimeter side of my ruler. And it is very close to 21 centimeters wide. So I'm going to say 21 centimeters. Okay. Once again, I wasn't accurate, with my estimate, but that's okay. It's a guess, and I thought it out. It was well thought out. So, sometimes you're lucky and you estimate correctly. Sometimes you're a little off. It's okay. As long as you go back and you know how to actually use the ruler to measure, you are good. So it's very similar to what we learned when we first started using the ruler. The only difference is that we're focusing on centimeters. Centimeters are a different type of measuring length. And I gave you some references as to how wide a centimeter is, or how long a centimeter is, and that there are 30 centimeters in a ruler. So you always want to know, oh, I'm measuring centimeters, so I'm on the side that goes up to 30, because 30 centimeters is what I see in one ruler, okay? You're going to have a chance to practice now, boys and girls. So I'm asking you to once again take out your math book, My Math Volume 2, and turn to page 686. 686. Now you're going to notice that here up at the top where I tell you they always have some helpful information, they introduce centimeters as well as meters. For the sake of today's lesson, I only talked about centimeters because I don't have a meter stick. So I don't want to show you something or talk about something if I don't actually have the math manipulative to show you. So we've only focused on centimeter. That was our objective. So if you go and you look at page 686, you're going to see that I circled number 1, number 3. On page 687, I circled number 4, 5, and 6. On page 688, I circled 10, 11, and then the hot problem. Okay, I want you to only focus on those problems. Number 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, and the hot problem. And once again, the reason being is that those are the problems that talk about centimeters, and that is all that I talked about today in our lesson. So that's what I really want you to focus on. What else was I going to tell you? I was going to tell you something else and I can't remember. Okay, so the hot problem, I do want you to do that. And, you know, you're using your same measuring tool that you use, but you're focusing on the side that says centimeters. Don't forget. So that is what you will do today, and you will have that ready for discussion when we meet during our Zoom session. So really quick, let's just go back and look at our objectives. So our objective says students will use a centimeter ruler to measure objects. Of course, you have not practiced yet. I did it here and you followed along, but that is what you will do in your book when we practice together. So once again, pages 686, 687, and 688. Okay, boys and girls. Can't wait to meet with you guys soon, and do your best with this lesson. Thank you. Bye.